The CEO of NTB is yet to arrive. Vice President, Zone 4 of the International Union of Architects, Architect John Rule Han, and President of ArcAsia, Architect Rita So. This morning's keynote address speaker, Architect Popo Danes from Popo Danes Architect Indonesia. Various distinguished dignitaries, excellencies, government officials, past presidents of SONA, NEC's chair, representatives of various professional societies, leaders and officials of the hotel industry, hotel and tourism industry, in fact, international national delegates and participants, the media, students, and friends, ladies and gentlemen. Architectural role in architecture and tourism are very closely dependent or related to each other. It can be said they are dependent on each other, basically. The mutual relationship is obvious since ancient times, where the architecture as a tourist attraction had a very important role. Temples have been built in honor of gods. Grand theaters, stadiums, coliseums, and other such monumental public buildings always attracted large crowds as the characters collected certain cultural and the society in which they arose. Architecture was and is an expression of lifestyle and spirit of the times, certain epochs and cultures in which they arose. Many cities throughout the world are an ideal example of how the spirit of an era based on an entire tourist offer and its development just on monuments, culture in the field of architecture, but also on cultural characteristics of the society belonging to an age when architecture was created. That architecture in this case is source of information about the history and the element that identifies the city, nation, and the country. Lately, there has been major transformation, though. Until a few decades, historical heritage, like monuments, were the basis of cultural architecture tourism. Today, the excellent modern architecture has the same power of attraction, which makes great increases in the number of tourists and turning cities into new tourist attractions. The example best that describes this thing is the city of Dubai, known worldwide as the Middle Eastern capital of extravagance. Nepal's rich architectural heritage is a major attraction for people around the world. The remarkable architecture of Nepal can be used as a branding tool to establish as one of the major tourist destinations in the world. The travel itinerary is influenced by the architecture of the place they travel to. Tourists visiting Kathmandu definitely seek heritage, culture, architecture, and architecture noticeable in the three Dalbar squares, Swayambhunath, Bodhanath, stupas. Nepal's unique architectural and cultural heritage is recognized worldwide, which makes Nepal a very popular travel destination. The government too is doing its bit to promote the country. The Nepal Tourism Board has introduced a campaign called Visit Nepal 2020, aiming to attract 2 million tourists, 2 million foreign tourists to the country. Accordingly, this conference also, which is initiated by the 13th EC of SONA, has been designed to value the past and work on the present for a better future. The sub-themes on imaging the cities, new directions, tourism, architecture, and post-disaster will create opportunities for developing concepts derived from the presentations and active participation of the attendees. We have a very prominent keynote address speaker who will initiate discussions, and each of the sessions will become valuable learning opportunities ignited by the presenters. SONA has always been creating opportunities and platforms for such events together with other similar professional partners, the government, and the business entrepreneurs. Our architects have now gained enough experience to strongly fulfill the demands of the tourism industry through their architecture. I'm sure each one of you will enjoy your presence here. Once again, I welcome you all and enjoy the show. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mohammad Istiaik Rai to inaugurate the ceremony. May I call Sir Mohammad Istiaik Rai on the stage. And I request all the other guests to participate in the ceremony. President of Arc Asia, Architect Rita So from Singapore with us. May I invite her on stage to deliver her few words. Please welcome Architect Rita So with a big round of applause.
That the built heritage, architecture is really the built heritage of our countries. All right, wherever we go, the attractive place that we see, the architecture that helps to create the environment. And indeed, as a tourist, I have visited Bhaktapur, I have visited Chandagiri, and a few other places which I think it's a big mouthful for me to pronounce, but amazing architectural heritage. And I was here before the earthquake. I saw some of the beauty that you had, and after that we came right after the earthquake. We saw the beginning of the reconstruction. The last 2 days or 3 days, I've seen the restoration of many of your historic monuments. I must congratulate the architects, especially even the government effort to put a lot of initiative in restoring your historical monuments. It is always a challenge for places like Kathmandu. I think you attract a lot of people because of your historical as well as cultural tradition. And I think for me, the most of it is really the people. What I enjoy, as I told President Anju, I really appreciated the relaxed pace of life, maybe amidst the hustle and bustle, but it's amazing colors, the passion, the kind of smell, the sights as I walked along the various squares. It's amazing. And I really hope that this can be preserved amidst the advent of technology, the fact that we have to move on. As a tourist, it's fantastic. But as an architect, I saw the many challenges. If we are to keep our heritage as it is, you cannot preserve a lot of things because people ask for comfort. As you move along in the new generations, you need to have the balance. So I guess today is a very important conference. I think President Anju has said it. Architectural responses in terms of tourism, it's always a balance between what to keep and what to incorporate. Already I saw as an architect walking along the streets, the commercialization, the globalization that we have has brought in a lot of commercial products. And you see that everywhere in the world. How do you, as a country, keep the control, provide that safeguarding so that your historical heritage, the lifestyle of the people may not be too much altered? Obviously, we like the comfort of life, yeah, but how do we integrate? I was quite amazed by the fact that even when we walked through Durbar Square last evening, the use of technology in terms of sensor control lighting, if it's not, nobody's going there, it doesn't light up. So energy saving, I think we have got UIA champion for sustainable architecture, Istia here. So we really need to learn how to balance. So I'm sure you have many things to discuss, and I believe with all the distinguished speakers that you are here, I really hope that you have a very fruitful, and I wish you a very successful event. And hopefully, Anju, whatever that is transpired can be escalated back to Acacia together as a 21-nation organization with Asian focus. We have the same challenges in everywhere of our Asian countries. I hope this could also be lessons for us to learn so that you can share with us your experiences, and we could then share with the rest of the Acacia members. On this note, I'd like to thank you all once again for inviting me, and I wish you a very fruitful conference. Thank you.
안녕하세요. It's in Korean. Good morning, everybody. Distinguished chief guests, friends from Korea. Many of them come here for hiking to the top of the, maybe not top of the mountain, the middle of the mountain, because they are very old, so they cannot go all the way up. But my first impression here, I just arrived last night, and my first impression here, I saw very low-rise small buildings here and there, old and new, very much mixed, but very well designed, should I say. I think I feel like this courtyard, what we were having a tea and the cookies, very nice, small waters and the fountains and the building. So I'm already fell in love with Kathmandu and Nepal. I look forward my 3 more days here. And I noticed that not only mountains, Everest, Himalaya, but the city itself has so many beautiful things, heritage buildings. Like Korea, we used to be a Buddhist countries. You come to Korea, you see so many temples in the mountainside, but I hear in the city so many temples from Buddhist and Hindu religions. And I look forward to see many of them because I read through the articles and it was so nice. So this theme about heritage, architecture, tourism, I think is very timely. UIA, we just had a forum in Baku, Azerbaijan about heritage and tourism. So now all the world gets very close to each other. We fly in a couple of hours, we'll be all over. And I think it's to find another culture with new buildings and all the heritages, fantastic thing. And I'm so pleased that you have this national conference about this tourism. But as an architect, also we have some issues. How to control the people come for the tourism, and how to preserve the heritage architecture. So I hope for next 2 days, you talked about the good side and bad side, or good things and bad things, about good things about tourism and good things about nature, but also how to conserve and how to preserve in a nice manner. So again, I'm the UIA Vice President, which is for the region 4, which is Asia and Australia and New Zealand. We have a big event every 3 years. I was elected as a Vice President in Seoul Congress. I'm not sure many of you came to Seoul in 2017, but we were so grateful so many foreign architects came to visit. And we will have next Congress in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, 2020, your year of tourists coming. And they are preparing very hard too. I'm very much glad that SONA is one of all the applicants as a group participant to Rio. And I hope many of you come. It's a different thing, different ocean. They have different the culture. You know, they love dance and singing. But I think comparing the Rio to you have in here, and we share the common goals together. So I hope to see many of you in Rio. I will be there, and as one of the hosts, as a UIA bureau member, and also I hope you have very successful conference. I heard this is almost first national conference, and I'm sure many distinguished guests and speakers. I look forward to hearing and share your all these knowledges, all those resources. I will share with UIA, and we will talk more and more how to promote tourism as well as how to well preserve the heritage. Thank you again for inviting me, and have a good conference. Thank you.
Nepal is known as mountainous country, and Nepal is known as the adventure activities that offers this destination. But whereas Nepal has much more to offer in heritage, in wildlife, in culture, in many other aspects, Nepal is so rich. Probably this is the most diverse country on earth. Our lowest point from sea level is 60 meters and highest is 848, and this is just in between the distance of around 150 kilometers. We can imagine how diverse this country is. As diverse this country is, as many varieties of insights and intelligence this country gives. So, especially to the young architect engineers, I would like to request architectural grandeur, architectural designs have been always a very unique tourism experiences all over the world. Not today, be it in the ancient times like Colosseum or Petra or the Jordan's many other sites, to the date the modern architects like Burj Khalifa or the many towers in different countries. These have been very unique experiences for the tourists. And tourism is the industry which is ever growing, and this is the only industry which is probably we can guarantee that it will grow forever. So in that line, tourism has immense potential, not only in Nepal, all over the world. And in Nepal also, we are growing very rapidly, despite so many limitations. We have been able to achieve 25% of robust, sustained growth since last 3 years. So the future is bright, location is perfect, market is great. I would like to encourage all the young engineers to be in this sector. Few years back, I had one very small meeting with one of my friend from Australia, and he was suggesting me because of 3 segments, especially the investment is increasing in tourism sector. One, because of the generations that they have been investing. Second, because of the property dealers or the property handlers, they get quite a handsome amount of money and then they invest in tourism. And third is, it is because they are inspired by the very famous designs, very unique designs. And that's the key, I think that's the theme we are talking today. So without much words, I would like to request the engineers to think something big, something unique, something crazy, like we have witnessed in Leshan, in Bamiyan Buddha. We have also tallest mountains on earth. So maybe we can create something unique so that it can be a tourism attraction for generations to come. Without much words, wishing you all the best. I would like to request, this is the age of creation, curation and communication. We are together with all for tourism, because tourism is the industry we cannot grow in isolation. Your togetherness is key, and wishing you all the best and extending our special thanks on behalf of travel and tourism industry for choosing this very relevant theme. Wish you all the best, SONA, for this wonderful event. Wish you all the success. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable words. Now, I'd like to invite the guest of honor, Secretary of Ministry of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation, Government of Nepal, Mr. Kedar Bahadur Adhikari, to deliver a few words.
It is also perceived as a game changer sector of economic development, which can generate more foreign currency and employment. Tourism means for stay, spend, enjoy, and empty the pocket. Therefore, we need more area of touristic destination. It demands huge investment from private sector. I urge this gathering to find out the possibility of investment as well. Distinguished delegates, Nepal has a rich and proud history of architectural development. We can see the innovation, design, and products in our monuments, temples, buildings, and many other structures. It has transformed from generation to generation. However, modern technology has posed some challenges in that rich history. Tourism sectors are one of the major consumption sectors of architectural engineering. Hotel, resorts, airports, amusement parks, monuments, parks, etc. are the areas where we can invest our innovation and technology to provide better quality and service for the tourists. Today, tourists want something different and uniqueness with local tradition and product that gives more joy and peace while using the facility. Nepal has yet to shine by using those innovations. I therefore see more opportunity here in Nepal in this sector. Distinguished participants, connectivity is the major areas for better tourism. Both air and road connectivity are crucial aspects for bringing more tourists in the country. We have succeeded to upgrade the domestic airport now. Similarly, upgradation of Tribhuvan International Airport is at final stage. Gautam Buddha International Airport is targeted to complete by end of March and make ready for commercial purpose. Construction of Pokhara Regional Airport is also in good progress. Investment Board Nepal has selected Zurich International Airport as a single party to build and operate Nizhgard International Airport on public-private partnership. Similarly, wider roads are coming in the major touristic destinations. However, the construction delays are the most worried factor for all sectors. Government has constantly monitoring the progress of strategically important projects. So we are hopeful that we will enjoy good things in connectivity sector very soon. But I must admit in this August gathering that our road sector lacked much needed innovation, especially in utility road service, road furniture, and beautification. I hope the respected engineer society will look upon making every infrastructure safe and attractive, and you must. You should not compromise on the quality and standard. Our hill stations are still virgin and waiting for more fascinating intervention. We can make those stations attractive touristic places by preserving local traditions and culture of the society. Every municipality can give one special theme. We urge this community to work together. In this occasion, I propose SONA to join hands for designing and developing few hill stations this year as a partnership program. Distinguished delegates, on these 2 days, the scholars from Architectural Society shall discuss and conclude with concrete ideas for tourism sector. We are far behind in developing tourism products, especially in the entertainment sector. We have a culture of resting place called Chautari, Pati, Paua while trekking, drinking tap on the way of trekking route. Such tradition can be regenerated while developing trekking route to live our tradition with more joy. Finally, may I urge the society for leading the way of innovation with rich heritage in the days to come. I wish grand success of the event. Thanking you for inviting me to share a few words. Thank you.
Now, I have the privilege to introduce our keynote speaker at this inaugural session, Architect Popo Danis. He is one of Bali's most prominent and acclaimed architects.
The topic of the conference, the architectural response to tourism, I think I can contribute something in it because as Balinese, I think I'm involved with tourism and culture, and now as an architect almost all my life, since my childhood time. So then I can start this presentation which is, I think, can be a kind of explanation of how things are happening in Bali. And yeah, especially I would really love if this is also can be beneficial for the similarity of Indonesia and Nepal. So I think before I start some presentation through projects that we have done in Bali, I think it's good if I also can do a little bit of storytelling about Bali to make the story more connected from the background to what's happening today, because today everybody is dreaming to come to Bali, but of course sometimes we think like it's too much what's happening in Bali today in terms of tourism. The country is becoming overdeveloped. We are lack of improving our infrastructure. There's quite some problem that we have to avoid actually. So Bali is actually not a very big island, but saying not big, it's still 7 times bigger compared to Singapore. We are surrounded by water, but we have a very less Balinese working in the water as a fisherman, for instance. Why? Because the land is so fertile. So let me take the opportunity to be the ambassador of Bali for a few minutes. Land is so fertile and the people choose to live in the countryside where water is also, we got plenty, and the Balinese create a lot of very intricate kind of water irrigation system which is called subak. This slides showing the daily creative life of the Balinese people. So this is actually the root of all of the happening things in relation to the cultural and the craft and the art development in Bali. Because the Balinese, as the traditional farmer in the past, they are mostly cultivating rice at that time, and we were in the tropical countries where it is always very hot, and of course long time ago we had no electricity in Bali. The Balinese people will go to bed so early because it's dark, 8 o'clock they're already in bed. They wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. Then 5 o'clock, after a little bit of coffee and some banana fritters, they will go to the rice paddy, working for 4 and 5 hours, physical work. They will feel so tired. They go home at 10 o'clock and have a brunch, take shower, take a nap, and from 8 p.m. to 5 p.m., they always have a free time. And that's the time they use to do their creative work. At that time, there's no economy related to that. It's all creative, and they do it purely for their dedication, sometimes to God and everything. So there was no timeline to produce something in the creative work. So then in the past in Bali, every artwork is considered as art, but today every craft is considered as a handicraft. It's cheap because they are dealing with the market, with the timeline, with the export, with the price. So then everybody can put all of their concentration to do their best because they have no target in economy. And in Bali, we have a lot of traditional building, the classical architecture. This is some example of some of the temples in Bali. And the building in Bali is actually mostly considered as a temporary architecture. Why? Because the island doesn't have enough resources of solid building materials. In Bali, there's only a little bit of forest. There's a lot of bamboos, a lot of clays. We can do a lot of bricks, and there are some local stone. That's all. And we cannot produce a massive structure in Bali because the stone available in Bali also is not a solid stone like in India, in Nepal. You have a lot of granite, you have a lot of marbles. we have only very soft sandstone. So then in Bali, we have a different understanding of architectural conservation. In the West, because you have a solid structure, it lasts for 100 years, then you have to conserve it to maintain the originality of it. But in Bali, because we are only combining bamboo and clay and some stones without any cement, any steel, then the building maybe only lasts for some years. Then as long as you can ask the next generation to rebuild that structure, that's already considered as a conservation. The conservation is in the skill, not in the building itself. So one very big move regarding tourism in Bali were when Bali was there in the Paris Colonial Exposition in 31. This was the biggest first exposure of Bali in this international world. So this guy, Mandra, the musician, was the one who's leading the team to Paris at that time, and so many people from all over the world start to understand about the position of Bali in the map of the culture of the world. They already start to market Bali since year 1920s, yeah, because at the beginning of the previous century, there are some artistic people from the Western country who fall in love with Bali and start to establish themselves in Bali. I can mention some name, Colin McPhee, who's writing the dance and drama in Bali already in 1920. The Mexican Miguel Covarrubias was established himself in Bali in from 1930 to 1940. Charlie Chaplin was in Bali in 1930s. Yeah, so these people also producing many things about Bali, film, books, and also start helping the promotion of Bali. I have to share this in my tourism presentation because, especially in our country, so many area from East Indonesia, for instance, come to Bali. The mayor, the region come, and they want to transform their place to become like Bali overnight. So I want next month we have so many tourists from other country come to visit our place. But I have to also tell them about the process, about how Bali is becoming at this position today. So we start having some VIPs coming. This is the, like in this picture, one senator from the US. And also there's a picture of Bali Hotel. Bali Hotel is the first hotel in the center of the capital of Bali in Denpasar, which was built by the Dutch company, the KPM, to start to receive guests. And this poster, See Bali, was done by Willem Gerard Hofker, one artist. They did all of the poster with hand painting, hand drawing, and it's currently becoming a very valuable collector's item in the art society. Then Indonesia becoming independence in 1945, and there was some compensation from the country who was occupying Indonesia. And this was the first international hotel in Bali, was built in 1966 by, it was modern architecture based on what they consider as the best architecture for hotel at that time. So it's a 10 stories building, concrete structure located on the best spot in Sanur Beach, actually not so far from my house now. And this is now considered as the tallest building in Bali, because in the 1974, the local government of Bali start to realize that they have to maintain the skyline of Bali. And in Bali now the regulation is we are not allowed to make a building more than 15 meters. In the practical way, the reference is not taller than the coconut trees, they said. Yeah, and we also have some local codes We also have to put the pitch roof in it as a part of the tropical architecture. We had this kind of discussion with architect Saifuddin this morning, so I hope this will explain some part of it. And in fact, I'm not involved in redeveloping this complex of Grand Bali Beach Hotel in the 42 hectares area at the prime beach of Sanur. So then we start the industry of tourism. From the architectural side, now I start talking more specific. This was the first hotel in Ubud which was developed and designed based on the cultural root of Bali. Originally, this was the house of the German artist Walter Spies, who lives in Ubud starting from 1936. So I think he built this house in 1942, and finally he's back to his country, and then he gave the building and the land back to the patron, to the local royal family in Ubud. Then the royal family start to develop this house as a guest accommodation. The message here is like having some of the first hospitality structure done by the foreigner in Bali. It's also giving us the understanding about the demand of the market. What is actually the people from outside Bali looking for if they come to Bali? I mean, this is from the architectural perspective. So then the Champuan Hotel now is becoming one of the prominent local brand of hotel in Bali. And in the year of 1965, there's one eccentric entrepreneur. I know him personally. He passed away like 20 years ago. Wia Wawaruntu came to Bali. He was in Amsterdam, in Holland. Actually, his blood is a half Indonesian. He fell in love with Sanur Beach, and he also fell in love with local architecture, even when he's not an architect. And he started collecting antiques. I think the same thing also happened in Nepal. He started collecting building elements and then start to put them together to become a structure. Then he established this Tanjung Sari Hotel at the beach of Sanur in 1965, starting with a few bungalows. And I have to say this could be, I cannot claim, this could be the first boutique hotel, at least in Southeast Asia. So, and this Tanjung Sari got a very long story. I was in the video of 50th anniversary of Tanjung Sari, making some explanation about the history and architecture. And this one also always keep developing, Tanjung Sari, getting larger and larger and bigger and bigger until I think the whole thing was becoming very much firm, like by the year of 80s or late 70s. Then there are also some very special event happened in Tanjung Sari Hotel, including the wedding of Mick Jagger and Jerry Hall in 1982. Some of those kind of things, and including some of famous book publication. And the same owner, Wia Wawaruntu, with his network, then developed one estate in not far from Tanjung Sari Hotel on the beach with his partner, one Australian artist. His name was Donald Friend. And Donald have a very close relationship, a good friend of Geoffrey Bawa from Sri Lanka. Then the more serious architecture coming to Bali, Geoffrey put this master plan, as you can see, this layout, and also start to transform all of the shape and the elements of the local architecture in Bali to become a new kind of hospitality architecture. This building was the private villa and studio of Donald Friend as an artist, which include a museum and his art studio. And in fact, I was involved in renovating the main pavilion in the year 2002 and to rebuild, as what I said earlier. The building material was mostly bamboo and wood and stones. Then we rebuilt and make them stronger and improve the structure condition. So then this kind of thing is becoming rolling, and the entrepreneur in Bali becoming also more aware about the importance of a good architecture in their facilities. Then this architect, Peter Muller, came to Bali in the early 70s. Then he designed this Oberoi Hotel. Currently, still they maintain the originality of Oberoi because it's becoming the jewel of the Seminyak area. Seminyak today is becoming the busiest lifestyle and tourism district in Bali in the high level. So, but this Oberoi still sitting there as the landmark of the culture and architecture. We are very happy about it. And also the same guy, Peter Muller, designed this Amandari in Ubud in late 80s, I think 88, he started designing. And this is becoming also the new model of new luxury tropical cultural architecture in the hospitality industry. And the architect, this was Ground Can, Martin Ground and Jack Can won one competition. Then they designed this four-season resort in Bali. And this is also important because especially Rita, she's from Singapore. This is the story of the late Carrie Hill. So one developer, Wynn and Corrigan from the US, initiating to put one Hyatt hotel in Sanur. And they made a design competition. And the winner was one firm from Hong Kong, Palmer and Turner. And Palmer and Turner put one young architect, Carrie Hill, as the project architect in Bali. And Carrie becoming fall in love with Bali. He learned a lot, and he also shared outside Bali. If people talking about Balinese architecture, oh, how about Carrie Hill? So Carrie also designed some very special resort like the Datai and Langkawi, the award-winning resort. But the thing is, like, we learn a lot from all of these friends from abroad about how we transform, how we make the transformation. One of our other friends is Made Wijaya. Made Wijaya, he's a landscape architect. He arrived when he was very young in Bali. And Made is a great man, is a good friend of mine. He did a lot of research. And we are so lucky as a Balinese. We have him and to do some documentation, writing, interview some of the local master builder and put them in the book and publish and implement them in some building and landscape elements. Yeah, but sadly he passed away 3 years ago with some important legacy for Bali. Then, like me, start working as an architect. I start my firm. Actually, I start working as the freelancer when I was a student. But in '93, we got one opportunity to put our design in the international world as well, even in the small scale. This was our first international project to design one restaurant for the fish market in Dubai. That was belong to the Intercontinental Hotel. Then I'm trying to be brave enough, as this is a fish market, and Dubai at that time really a fisherman place as well, because this hotel located on the creek where the local fishermen still working there. Then I brought and I proposed some of the local elements, how we transform the local tools to become part of the interior, and also the cane furniture. And this restaurant exists. I think they just refurbished recently and been very successfully for many years as several times or many times they got an award as the best restaurant in Dubai. And this is a kind of convinced me that the transformation of locality to become a new style is well accepted by the market. So then, at that time I was young architect. I mean, I still had more black hair at that time instead of white. I was in the middle of the road where I have to decide whether I want to become a modern architect, doing modern architecture, minimalistic, concrete, steel, and glass, or I have to stick with my own local culture. And suddenly I convinced myself that I think it's good for me to stay here because everybody have to accept Bali is the capital of Indonesia tourism. Yeah, and for some people, they know Bali better than Indonesia. So then, but how I established myself in this situation? I was brave enough. One of my client in Byron Bay, Australia, we helped them to set up one small accommodation, bed and breakfast. Give me an offer. Why don't we just collaborate to do another one in Bali? Then how? I got no money. Oh, I can provide the land and you do the rest. Fine. Then we start designing, and because we had very little money to acquire the land, we had like the cheapest kind of land and very steep. And I also did this with our minimum budget with the local builder and also transformed again the village architecture to become a new hospitality architecture. Then finally we have this Natura Resort opened in 1999 to become our new portfolio. But also not only just a portfolio, we received quite some numbers of awards. I saw Saifuddin also received the ASEAN Energy Award. We received twice, the Indonesian Construction Award. And then becoming one new benchmark for our steps in this tourism architecture. We were transforming like this granary, local architecture, how to transform the building which is traditionally used to store the rice by the local farmers to become a new pavilion to pamper the guests, from the traditional rice storage. And we did a lot of exercise. Actually, I did several hidden projects, small projects, somewhere else to as the model and how to connect this and how to work on the sizing and the materials. And because of that portfolio from Natura, we got the opportunity to design this Ubud Hanging Gardens in Ubud, which is currently considered as one of the world famous resort, and especially if we are checking the swimming pool, sometimes considered as the best 10, the best 5 most beautiful swimming pool, which is I can tell you the story later. So the Hanging Gardens was developed by a London-based developer, and when at that time the operator was Pensy from France, and the French operator brought one architect from France to design this resort, and they were looking for a local architect, and they start to talk to me, and after a few meetings, 3-4 meetings, they found that I actually can cover the whole thing because I understand about the business side, the demand of the industry, but also I understand more about the culture. Then the client finally decided that I think we have to switch the position, more practical to put Popo as the main architect and Alang Amadio architect from southern France as the in-house architect of the client at that time. This is also becoming a new start of other thing that people know us as the architect of the steep land. So if you have a steep site, difficult site, just find that architect with the white hair from Bali, Popo. I think he can do something. The other story behind this was because in 1993, I was starting to develop one quite active foundation for environment in Bali. I'm becoming very sensitive towards some of the environmental issue, including the land transformation, the land use transformation, because we were transforming so many wet productive land to become building sites. And I declare that I'm not going to touch any productive land to become a building site. So then I always get this kind of site, the difficult kind of site. And I got one problem, because I always love the nature, and seeing the site is always green, beautiful, nice river valley. I always start to work in the project with my guilty feeling, and also question myself whether I would able to maintain the beauty of the site after putting some concrete and steel and other kind of building materials. So that's why we are always very carefully designing and combining some structure and put them together with the site, with the nature. And we got a lot of inspiration from the nature. This is like, for instance, how to play with the rice terraces in Bali. We try to put this picture to our project site picture. Then also trying to work by following how our ancestor in Bali creating the landmark. The left picture is the main staircase to the Basakih temple in Bali, the biggest temple in Bali, which is currently actually we are working on improving the infrastructure of the temple and put the replica as the main staircase to become the feature of this resort in Ubud. So this is this swimming pool. And the story behind the swimming pool was actually designed by the value engineering situation. The land was so steep, we were trying to create a big pool, and we found that the cost is becoming so high to put all of those infrastructure, the substructure. Then we start thinking, why don't we just put the pool in 2 levels, just following the site contour? Then it's becoming a spatial masterpiece. This very well known, and then this hotel now is becoming very strict with guests, because like 10 years ago the Instagram era starting, and so many people trying to come and take the picture and go. Yeah, and now it's not that easy to visit this resort anymore. So Hanging Gardens also received quite some numbers of awards, yeah, including for the transportation. We are using the vernacular, how to transport the guests up and down. Then we can do a lot of energy efficiency actually, because we are not using the golf cart with a lot of track, which is need some area, some part of the site, and also because of the vertical elevator could be very industrial on this kind of site. So actually after the construction, the site condition, you can see the original site condition at the top left was dry and steep, with the development becoming lush and green, because we also put some topsoil, some new landscapes. And the hidden part of it is also actually the economic development for the area around the site. Because when we came to this site in 2002, this was a remote poor village. And after we put this one, this resort, creating a lot of new economic opportunity and giving a lot of good income for the local people, like some of them renting the room for the staff, become a supplier, some of the family member working at the resort, creating a new income. And this Ubud Hanging Gardens also got one smaller sister hotel, and this is more experimental in a way because actually the budget was so limited. If we still can play with this site, maybe we can try. Then we put this Nandini resort, and this Nandini, we even do a more traditional study. How if, because the land is so steep, and we don't want to put also a heavy structure, the substructure and the upper structure. How can we create a very light kind of structure to minimize the substructure? Then we were transforming this wood paneling of the traditional house, of the very traditional house of Bali, and plastered them with the mill and the white cement, and to become a nice paneling. As you can see, the texture in the panel was coming from the bamboo panel, which covered by those light aggregate, and all of the structure are sitting on stilt, and we even let all of the trees growing below it, and we also use the same kind of vernacular to transport the guests. And this is becoming very unique because the resort, this site actually got a more fertile kind of site, and we combined between the coffee plantation and the resort together at the same time. So we have agriculture and tourism at the same time here. So then there's a time where in Bali there's a lot of villa development happening, and the luxurious travelers start coming and with the family, and they like to have one individual villa with a lot of facilities. The official venue where normally we receive the guests of the country to introduce about the local art and culture in Bali. Yeah, this is another villa in Ubud where we are transforming the principle of how we divide the space in Bali. I think we are using the same word, mandala. We have the Sangha mandala, the 9 space we divide, 3 layers left to right and 3 layers up to the bottom, and we consider the center courtyard as the emptiness to create the balance. So then we put all of the other function at every side. But this is also another thing, because we do work on some modification to understand about the situation, because of course the local housing of the Balinese is different compared to the resort villas. And this is, I found, just to share, because I've been working quite a lot in India in the past 15 years, that we are doing some better flexibility compared to the Indian Vastu. Yeah. In India, I'm always fighting with what so-called Vastu consultant. Yeah, most of the time they are telling nonsense to me, so sorry to say. Yeah. Because I sometimes come to Bali with my dream. I do study about the site based on the beauty, practicality, and function and everything. Suddenly when we make the presentation, one guy will stand up with, "Sir, so sorry, you cannot put the water body at that side. The water body should go to the other side." "No, sorry, sir." And then the client sometimes confused whether they want to follow us or they want to listen to the Vastu consultant. So that's why if one Indian client coming, then I said, "Are you believe in Vastu?" When they are serious about Vastu, maybe you can consider about having another architect. I don't want to argue too much. Yeah, this is like the principle of the Balinese compound, where we put all of the ceremonial function. We always put, this is based on the geography of Bali, we always put the most important part of the house, which is the shrine, at the northeast, which is considered as the holiest corner, because in Bali, we have the Mount Agung as the main landmark of Bali, like the Mount Fuji in Japan, in the northeast of the most crowded area. So this is come up with this Bayard Villa. This villa is actually belong to one family from Copenhagen. So because they are also facing the weather like here, so during the winter time in Denmark, they stay in Bali at this house, enjoying the tropic. And this is belong to one Singaporean company who's starting the wedding destination business in Bali in 2005, and they have several small resort we design. We are always trying to play harmoniously between indoor and outdoor landscape and architecture. So there was a question, are you also doing the landscape design for your project? Actually not, but from the beginning we also always have to put the landscape thought, especially regarding the orientation and the view in every project. This project we did in another countryside, so I was telling some friends this morning that I'm actually the architect from the countryside, not from the city. I'm from the village. So we only did a conceptual design of this project because this project was owned by an officer of European Community, a Dutch guy who lives in Brussels. He said, Popo, I don't have a lot of money. If you don't mind, please produce the conceptual up to schematic design of the project. Then I will put the project step by step based on my financial availability. But again, this project, Munduk Moding Plantation in the heart of Bali, creating another surprise because of we put the pool at the right position. And this is the result of the Instagram era. Now so many people asking me, where is this place? Can we come and doing all of this kind of picture, yeah? And actually it's a very simple resort. Yeah, this project we designed actually for a big 5-star Sheraton resort in Visakhapatnam in the southern India. We start in the 2007. Somehow we understand in 2008 there was some crisis of monetary, some financial issue in some countries. Then the project was on hold for a while, and we didn't continue as a Sheraton, but one developer from Dubai took it and developed it to become a wellness resort. Now this kind of project type is becoming very popular in India. In the last few months, we got at least 4 or 5 developers from India trying to implement the same concept of business. Because today people doesn't want to go to the hospital as the sick people, desperate. But why don't we just look after ourselves when we are healthy and we got the money and enjoy the resort? And this is a resort with some health and some light medical facilities. So becoming a PIMA, the name of the resort now, PIMA Wellness. And I was also trying to study at that time how to manage the site, which is located on top of one whole hill with the 360 degrees of view in southern India. And I would say, not being too much, this is a kind of one landmark of the area of Visakhapatnam, because especially at night, this is the most seen structure when people pass by the highway from Andhra Pradesh to Maharashtra. Yeah, we also helped some of the existing hotel to refurbish themselves, because like this was a 25 years old Holiday Inn at the best location close to the airport in Bali, suddenly taken over by one big palm oil industrial. So they took it over and trying to demolish everything. I said, no, please, because if you still want to do hotel, you still need some rooms at least. Why don't we just maintain most of the structure as the rooms, and we add some new fresh facilities. Then it's considered like a new hotel after we put this new beach restaurant, a spa, yeah, the bar and also the private villa, kids club. This is a kind of personal introduction. This is our design studio in Bali. Why I put this in this presentation? Because people also asking you, do all of the resort all your life, and how you work, how you live, and okay, another 5 minutes. I can stop at any time actually. So yeah, because now it's about project. So in this studio also showing our sensitivity. We are only using recycled materials because being somebody from the tropical countries, I was the witness of how our rainforest was robbed by those greedy people who chop the wood and do the illegal logging. Yeah, now we are mostly only using recycled wood or engineered wood. Very careful. We use all of the recycled wood as the facade. We also do indoor and outdoor space, like the downstairs at our dining room. We do without air condition, just work on the passive cooling. And we very much minimize the use of energy. This is our compound. Please welcome to visit us in Bali at any time. And yeah, as you can see, all of the wood are good, strong. Even some of them are looking rotten wood. This is how we work in our daily life in Bali. We have also our roof deck, and to our Singaporean friend, I can tell we celebrate the 70th birthday of Tai Keng Soon on this deck some years ago. Yeah, and we have a lot of visitor coming. We have a lot of event, cultural event involving student, involving architect from another country. And we also do a lot of, yeah, this is another project where we were transforming a local palace from a local royal family to become also a small resort in one village. This village was nothing, Kaba village, which is not in the area of tourism in Bali, but we are trying to introduce something and to put one new landmark of the village. And it works through architecture, and we also, as always, we put a very minimum kind of footprint, and but also adopt a lot of these local architecture elements and involving the local artisan to get involved and take the imagination, inspiration from the local palazzo and how to put them in the new building configuration. And in this resort, we were transforming a joglo house. Joglo is an old structure for the Javanese, give me 2 minutes, the Javanese traditional house. The thing is they are using the most precious thick wood from Java as the structure, but most of the time the house located in the remote village and dark and becoming like a slum because they don't appreciate anymore. Then we pull some of the structure and rebuild them in Bali, put in the new setting on the river valley. Then we put a new life, we put a new function, and we put some new luxury in it. This is also now becoming one of the very special private resort. This was in Pondicherry in southern India. We were developing Chettinad style. Thailand, we did one project in Khao Yai because actually in Asia, we easily can do the Asia fusion. We can learn each other from one to another country, what we can learn from South Korea, what we can learn from India, from Thailand. We can always communicate through our idea of architecture. This is located right next to the national park in Khao Yai in Thailand. So if I'm stick with my thought originally to become a modern architect, I think up to Singapore I'm already nobody. But because I'm trying to maintain my own local color, then I'm currently accepted in quite some other countries, yeah, we do like this is this can consider as the most popular wedding venue in Bali now. This compound hosting like more than 100 weddings every year. So that's why all of our clients are very happy. This is talking about the sustainability because we were winning twice the ASEAN Energy Award. We got a lot of information about the energy efficiency, and I could consider this as the first project in Bali which is 100% using renewable energy. We are not connecting ourselves with the government grid. So this was designed in 2012. It's already done in 2014. So we managed to produce a 45 kVA to lit up and also run this small resort in the east coast of Bali. And this is about the conservation. This is receiving the Indonesian Architecture Award last year. We were conserving one old structure in one city in Lombok, in next to Bali. This building was in the very bad condition, but it was a kind of the most charming building in the entire city. And luckily, I got this client. He's a restaurateur who's happy to take this one. Then we did some exercise, and we finally put this to become a restaurant. And I think this is the most prominent restaurant in the entire Lombok. The president came for lunch here a few times, yeah, and all of the minister always like to come here. And I think this is the last slide because I also want to make my personal introduction. This is where I live in Bali, the house, and of course I'm trying to put myself as the modern architect and make the layout very contemporary. But because we have all of those local material, art and craft in Bali, and I'm very close to the art and cultural society, I include some of the details in using those kind of art, and also some of the modern approach of layout. And we have unlimited supplies of building elements from the architecture, interior.
Sir, for your outstanding keynote presentation. I'm very sorry I had to interrupt you time and again. We are running short of time. So now I would like to invite our chief guest, Honorable Minister of Urban Development, Government of Nepal, Mohammad Istiaq Rai, to deliver his few words. We are very thankful to you, sir, for having taken out time from your busy schedule and staying with us and gracing our program. Thank you.
धन्यवाद। र त्यसै अन्तिम तयारीको अवस्थामा सोसाइटी अफ नेपालीज आर्किटेक्टको आयोजनामा नेसनल आर्किटेक्चर कन्फरेन्स, त्यसको पनि थीम आर्किटेक्चरल रिस्पोन्स टु टुरिज्म इन नेपाल। मलाई लाग्छ अहिले पूर्ववक्ता साथीहरूले, सचिवज्यूले मोडर्न आर्किटेक्चर, ट्रेडिसनल आर्किटेक्चर र इन्डोनेसियाका आर्किटेक्चर मिस्टर पोपोले त्यहाँका लोकल कल्चर र ट्रेडिसनल कल्चरलाई मिक्सअप गरेर मोडर्नाइज फ्यासिलिटिजका आधारमा गरेका कामहरू र टुरिज्मलाई चाहिँ आकर्षित गर्न सकेको धेरै व्याख्यानहरू गर्नुभयो। मैले त्यसमा धेरै भन्नु पर्दैन। नेपाल अहिले दुनियाँमा के छ भने हामी परापूर्वकालका इतिहास र आर्किटेक्चरहरूलाई म्युजियमका रूपमा सजाएर राख्छौं, देखाउँछौं हाम्रो परापूर्वकालको आर्किटेक्चर यस्तो थियो र टुरिज्मलाई हामी टुरिस्टहरूलाई र टुरिज्मलाई आकर्षण गर्न चाहिँ हामी देखाउँछौं इतिहासलाई। तर नेपालको कन्सेप्टमा हेर्ने हो भने हाम्रो लिभिङ, हाम्रो रहन अहिले लिच्छवीकालीन र मल्लकालीन, अहिले काठमाडौँमा, भक्तपुरमा, ललितपुरमा, बुद्धकालीन नेपालमा हामी देख्न सक्छौं। हामी नेपालीहरू त्यहाँ बस्छौं। हाम्रो आर्किटेक्चर नेपाल होइन, विश्वले नै अहिले चाहिँ चिनेको छ। हाम्रो जुन आर्किटेक्चर छ, हामीले आकर्षणका केन्द्रबिन्दुमा छौं। अहिले बाँसबाट र त्यहाँका लोकल मेटेरियलबाट चाहिँ विभिन्न चाहिँ आर्किटेक्चर डिजाइन गरेर आधुनिक संरचनाहरू निर्माण गरेका छौँ। तर नेपालमा यो 72 को भूकम्प पश्चात हाम्रै मन्त्रालय अन्तर्गत विगतमा थियो एनआरए, त्यसले धेरै पुराना संरचनाहरूलाई रिनोभेट गर्ने काम गर्यो। हाम्रै साथीहरू यहाँ बस्नु भएको छ, उहाँहरूकै कन्सल्टेन्ट, उहाँहरूकै सल्लाह र सुझावमा त्यसलाई रिनोभेट गरिए। मैले खासै त्यसमा भन्नु पर्दैन, त्यो गर्दा पनि त्यसलाई अहिले पुरानो लिच्छवीकालीन या मल्लकालीन परम्परा र संस्कृतिलाई हामी त्यहीँ राखेर केही मोडर्नाइज गर्न सक्थ्यौँ। तर हाम्रा आर्किटेक्चरहरूलाई त्यसमा मिक्सअप गर्न सक्नु भएन। विगतकै जस्तो अहिले पनि त्यही बनाएर चाहिँ खडा गरे। त्यो मैले नराम्रो भनेका होइन। हाम्रो नेपालको अहिलेका आर्किटेक्चर भिजिट नेपाल 2020 का लागि आकर्षित गर्ने बनाउनु पर्दैन। अलरेडी धेरै संरचनाहरू हामीसँग छ। तर भविष्यका लागि मैले भन्नुपर्दा, किनकि आज मेरो फ्राइडे हो, नमाज पढ्नु पर्ने, धेरै चाहिँ डिले नै भइसकेको अवस्था हो मलाई लाग्छ। अहिलेको मैले चाहिँ खास गरेर थोरै यहाँ साथीहरू, सोनाका साथीहरू, आर्किटेक्चर साथीहरू बस्नु भएको छ नेपालभरिका। अहिलेको नेपालको आधुनिक युगमा दुनियाँ चाहिँ मोडर्नाइजेसनमा जाँदैछ। मिस्टर पोपोले कस्तो चाहिँ कङ्क्रिट मोडर्नाइजेसनको चाहिँ त्यो उहाँले प्रतिक्रिया दिनुभयो। वास्तविक रूपमा हेर्ने हो भने अहिलेको च्यालेन्जको विषय नै भइसकेको छ। हामी कङ्क्रिटको जङ्गल बनाउँदैछौँ। उहाँले ग्रेनाइट र चाहिँ मार्बल्सहरू जो कि धेरै दिनसम्म चाहिँ त्यस्ता हामी प्रयोग गर्दैनौँ। हामी त्यहाँका चाहिँ सफ्ट मटेरियल्सहरू प्रयोग गर्छौँ। अहिले नेपालको आवश्यकता हेर्ने हो भने नेपाली कल्चर, त्यो लोकल कल्चर पनि लिच्छवीकालीन, मल्लकालीन, बुद्धकालीन र विभिन्न धर्म संस्कृतिसँग जोडेर ट्रेडिसनल आर्किटेक्चर अनि मोडर्न फेसिलिटिजका साथमा एउटा चाहिँ यो कन्फरेन्स 2 दिने जुन आयोजित कन्फरेन्स छ, एउटा चाहिँ कन्क्लुड होस् भन्ने मेरो सुझाव छ। मैले नै हेर्ने हो भने म एक दिन घर परिवारका साथमा चितवन सौराहा घुम्न गए। साथीहरूले त्यहाँ ठुला ठुला कङ्क्रिटका होटल 3 स्टार, 4 स्टार र 5 स्टार पनि भइसकेका छन्। त्यहाँ बसौँ कि भनेर, होइन म जङ्गल रिसोर्टमा बस्छु भनेर थारू कल्चरको घर बनाएको, जबकि त्यो कङ्क्रिटभन्दा महँगो। कङ्क्रिटको त्यहाँ बसाइ 10,000 रुपियाँ, तर चाहिँ त्यो कल्चरमा हामी गएर आधुनिक सुविधा सहितको थारू कल्चरमा गएर बस्दा त्यसको 1.5 गुणा पैसा पनि लाग्ने, तर हामी रुचाउने। तसर्थ अहिलेको नेपालको हामी बुर्ज खलिफा भने पूर्ववक्ताले, हामी बुर्ज खलिफा त नेपालमा अहिले हाम्रो स्रोत साधन र हाम्रो देशको अर्थव्यवस्थाले र हामी त्यो हिसाबले पर्यटक र टुरिज्मलाई बढावा दिने हिसाबले या लगानीकर्ताको हिसाबले पोसिबल छैन। तसर्थ हामीले कसरी दुनियाँलाई, संसारलाई आकर्षित गर्न सक्छौँ, कस्ता आर्किटेक्चरको यहाँ आवश्यकता छ, त्यो अनुसार मलाई लाग्छ मैले भने विश्व र संसारले आर्किटेक्चर, पुराना आर्किटेक्चर, ट्रेडिसनल आर्किटेक्चरहरूलाई अहिले बनाएर चाहिँ आकर्षण गर्न खोजिया छ। तर नेपालीहरूमा अहिले हामी बस्दै आएका छौँ। ट्रेडिसनल आर्किटेक्चर घरहरू अहिले पनि धेरै पुरानाहरू हामीसँग मौजुद छ। हामी लिभिङ नै गर्दै आएका छौँ। त्यसलाई मिक्सअप गरेर अगाडि बढ्नुपर्छ। र खास गरेर 2-3 वटा कुराहरू चाहिँ मैले भन्नुपर्दा, यो 2 दिने यो कन्फरेन्स र यस छलफलबाट आएका इस्युजहरू र सुझावहरू मैले आर्किटेक्चर बीआर मिनिस्ट्रीको मिनिस्टरको हैसियतले तपाईहरूको सुझाव र सल्लाहलाई अन गरेर स्वामित्व लिएर सधैँ अगाडि बढ्न तयार रहेको छ भन्ने म जानकारी गराउन चाहन्छु। र सँगै अब इन्जिनियरिङ काउन्सिलको कुरा छ। त्यो इन्जिनियरिङ काउन्सिल छँदैछ। हाम्रो साथीहरूले पनि अब चाहिँ आर्किटेक्चर काउन्सिलका कुरा गरेका छन्। इन्जिनियर्स जस्तै एउटा हाम्रो पनि काउन्सिल होस् भन्ने धेरै दिनदेखि मागहरू मैले सुन्दै आएको छु। तपाईहरू त्यसलाई पनि यही कन्फरेन्सबाट अगाडि सार्नुहोस्। त्यसलाई लिपिबद्ध गर्न, कानुन सम्बद्ध गराउन शहरी विकास मन्त्रालय तयार रहेको छ भन्ने
मैले प्रतिबद्धता व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु र यो 2 दिने कन्फरेन्सले तपाईहरुको थीम अनुसार आर्किटेक्चरल रिस्पोन्स टु टुरिज्म इन नेपाल एकदमै भव्यताका साथ र राम्रो दिशाका साथ राम्रो थिंकका साथ राम्रो मार्ग दर्शनका साथमा सम्पन्न होस् भन्ने पनि शुभकामना दिन चाहन्छु र अन्तमा एकपटक विदेशबाट आएका पाहुनाहरू र उहाँहरूले आफ्ना यहाँका आर्किटेक्चरल र त्यहाँका आर्किटेक्चरहरूको बारेमा विस्तृत रूपमा यहाँ प्रेजेन्ट गरेर कसरी चाहिँ हामीले आकर्षित गरेका छौं त्यसको लागि उहाँहरूलाई विशेष धन्यवाद पनि दिन चाहन्छु र आफ्नो भनाइलाई यही अन्त गर्न चाहन्छु। हस्त धन्यवाद। नमस्कार।
Thank you very much, sir.
Your ears also left. We have our distinguished guest, Mr. Deepak Raj Joshi, CEO, Nepal Tourism Board. Similarly, I would like to welcome keynote speaker, architect Popo Dins from Indonesia, guest of honor, architect Rita So, president of Acacia, distinguished guest, architect Jong Run Hang, vice president, Zone 4 UIA. We also have with us today Ms. Lisa Chogyal, Honorary Consulate General of New Zealand with us. I would also like to welcome SONA past presidents, conference convener, architect Rajesh Thapa. We also have with us today architect Saifuddin bin Ahmad, who is one of the speakers, and he is also the vice president of Acacia Zone B. Architect Ishtiaq Zahid Titas, council member of UIA from Bangladesh. International and national speakers, dignitaries from the hotel and tourism business houses, heads and representatives of all organizations who are our knowledge partners today. Our mega sponsors, we have 12 mega sponsors, media partner spaces, official paint partner Asian Paints, media personnel from different media houses, SONA members, participants, students of architecture, ladies and gentlemen. Since today we have with us here guests from other sectors also, we are not just architects in the hall today, I would like to tell you a bit about SONA. Society of Nepalese Architects, SONA, is the professional organization of Nepalese architects established in 1991 by a group of enthusiastic architects representing the government, the private sector, and the academia. The main objective of SONA is to protect the rights and responsibilities of Nepalese architects and promote architectural profession in Nepal. SONA has evolved over a period of 29 years and it is today 1389 members strong. It now has spread beyond the valley boundaries and we have 2 committees in Province 1 and 4. We intend to have branch offices in all 7 provinces in the days ahead. In recent years, SONA has been involved in organizing design competitions, professional work, exhibitions, discussions, sessions, etc. SONA is now a member of SACH, South Asian Association of Architects, Acacia, Architects Council of Asia, UIA, the International Union of Architects. The number of members attending international events and forums have increased in recent years. Thus, with our international affiliations, SONA members as well as students of architecture have been able to participate in many events, opening up a broader horizon for all of them to explore. Now, on behalf of the 13th Executive Committee of SONA, I would like to welcome all of you here today, stakeholders from all related to architecture and tourism. Tourism today is the stronghold industry that has been and will be contributing large scale to the economic development of our country. Tourism is and will always remain the largest and the most sustainable industry for Nepal. Our land has been bestowed with nature's bounty and we have 8 of the 10 highest mountains in the world within our domain. The changing landscape from the Tarai flatlands to the top of Mount Everest, the abundant biodiversity attracts tourists from around the world, nature lovers as well as adventure seekers. To top it off, we have our architectural heritage, the traditional architecture of the Malla period, the UNESCO World Heritage Sites, the multiple temples, palace squares, the traditional settlements, the old city core, with its alleyways, nooks and crannies that have their own individual identities and socio-cultural values. With Visit Nepal Year 2020 right on our threshold, this National Architecture Conference on the theme Architectural Responses to Tourism in Nepal will surely help in adding value to the envisioned year ahead. As we have with us here today dignitaries from ministerial level, bureaucracy, tourism and hospitality business, government agencies, business houses, construction material industries, construction business, professional architects, inclusive of students of architecture who we believe will help in the dissemination of information and knowledge shared today on behalf for the benefit of all. Our intention is also to increase the awareness amongst all stakeholders, the importance of architecture then and now, and the role of architects in the development of the tourism industry in various dimensions. It is crucial that governing bodies understand the role and contribution of architects in nation building, from the planning and design of cities and landscapes down to the smallest units of built forms, from buildings to bridges that together form the largest spread. Similarly, the role of architects in the conservation sector, not just in post-earthquake rebuilding, but also regularly maintenance of our heritage buildings, keeping our traditional technologies alive and intact, a sector that has been intensely researched by many from around the world, the most sustainable and energy-efficient, climate-friendly technology we need to be proud of. The awe and respect for the richness in architecture that is ours has undergone and withstood the test of time through centuries. The evolution of architecture then on to recent times has a completely different storyline. The changing skylines, the rising population density, the immense pressure on the existing infrastructure, the diminishing open spaces, the reducing greenery, and the disappearing biodiversity. Let us all be aware. It is for us to understand and move ahead in the right direction. We hope the technical session that cover all these aspects will bring to light the problems and solutions to some extent. The interactive question-answer session should add on to the brainstorming. The papers from our international speakers will throw more light on development going on in different areas of the Asian subcontinent and beyond. Knowledge shared is knowledge gained. Let us enjoy the sessions and learn from each other. We, the 13th EC of SONA, would like to thank all the dignitaries and guests for giving us your priceless time and being with us today. Thanks to all our national and international speakers for your instantaneous support in bringing this conference to fruition. We have been able to deliver due to the immense support and guidance. I would like to take a few names: Architect Arun Dev Pant and Architect Sher Bahadur Kesi sir. They have been the supporting pillars behind what we are here today. Architect Rajesh Thapa, our convener for the conference, and our invaluable 12 mega sponsors whom I would like to name here: Shama Devi Group, Asian Concreto Private Limited, SN Joshi and Sons Company Private Limited, Shivam Cement, Continental Trading Enterprises Private Limited, Krishna Trading Concern, Airtech Industries Private Limited, Marvel Technoplast Private Limited, Baba Muktinath Fabricator Private Limited, Rukmini International Private Limited, VTech, Mangalam Group. Our media partners, Spaces Magazine, official paint partner Asian Paints, thank you all. Also, thanks to all the media houses present here today. It is your coverage and support that plays an immense role in bringing awareness to the general mass. Thanks to everyone again present here today for your immense support. Thank you.
Felicitate our special guests with token of love. May I call upon the stage the Vice President of Zone 4 International Union of Architects, Architect Jong Rul Han from South Korea. Sir, can we please stay on the stage? Architect Rita So. Conference keynote speaker, Architect Popo Danis from Bali, Indonesia. May I call upon the CEO of Nepal Tourism Board, Mr. Deepak Raj Joshi, on stage. May I call upon Architect Rajesh Thapa, the President of SCAF, on stage. May I request all of you for a group photograph.